Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Talking Crazy 88 back again with another podcast for you. Here it is. This is the long-awaited podcast regarding there is no jobs, but there's plenty of work. And I'm just going to go ahead and title this part one because I'm certain there's going to be a lot more information that I'm going to probably provide to you, brothers and sisters out there who are in the jobs right now as we speak, not making the money that you thought you was going to make when you went through 4+ years of school to get that piece of paper and build your resume so you can get that entry level job and work your way up for a few years to management until reality sets in that on your job, when you're middle management, your boss want to try to get rid of you so they can bring in their nephew who just graduated from the same school that you graduated from, who have no experience, who's going to be a manager over everybody, over everybody over in your division, who have no experience, didn't work their way up like you did, but want to get you out of there to get his nephew in there, who happens to be white. You have to deal with that shit on a daily basis, people. When you're on a job, you're always skating on thin ice. It's always good to have a job. You should always have a job. You should always be working, but at the same time, you should be stacking your chips up, man, doing something else. And as a black man, you should always have a side. You should be having a side hustle. You always got to have something on the side going on the side, besides just high-signing and bullshitting and chasing after white women and nigger bitches. All right, who's really there to set up to take part of your resources? They're not there to add to your resources. They're there to take from you. See, the vast majority of American women, and it doesn't matter what race they are, because you can go on that black woman this and black woman that. Everybody is on that bullshit. If you're living in this country, you best be sure that you're gonna run into 99 women who's up on that bullshit. And that 1%, that one woman that's not on that bullshit, she's married to some nigga that's not even worthy of her. Okay? It's always hard to find the 1%ers, brothers. Always hard. But you got to be that 1% to that woman. All right? So, if you're on a job and you constantly getting fired every 5 years, then hey, man, you're going to be at an age where they're not going to be hiring you. They're not going to be calling you. They can look at your resume, but they're not going to hire you because you're damn near 50 years old, or if you're 50 and you haven't been established in your career, you're going to end up taking a job that is not going to be comparable to your education. All right? Working as a greeter at Walmart, pouring coffee for niggas at Starbucks. Well, not at Starbucks, but at some other coffee shop. Going to be waiting tables. That's what a lot of people did during the crash in 2008, 2009. When a lot of the financial institutions just started laying people off. These big corporations were laying people off. People were defaulting on their loans. They started, these big banks started selling mortgages to people who shouldn't have a mortgage. You understand what I'm saying? They shouldn't be buying houses. Sometimes it's better not to buy. See, I'm an accountant by trade. So certain people shouldn't be buying houses. Certain people should just rent their apartments for a little while. Save up some money until they can buy a house. You know, clean up your credit first. Rent your apartment, clean your credit, pay off your debt, bring your debt to income ratio down. Pay off some, if you have student loans, pay that off. Try and pay it off as quickly as possible. If it's not sky high, if you don't have $100,000 in student loans, which is insane. Which is insane if you're not in a career where you're going to be making over $100,000 a year. The fuck are you doing? Taking out these loans. Fuck is wrong with y'all? You're taking out a loan for $100,000. You paying $100,000 in student loans because you're getting a master's degree in women's studies? Nigga, are you out of your mind? Psychology? Unless you plan on becoming a psychiatrist and getting your PhD or your medical degree, you should not be spending no $100,000 for an undergraduate degree. The fuck is wrong with you? On some bullshit degree? And you're going to end up working for the government anyway? The fuck is wrong with y'all? Young people, you know what? I've been enamored. And this is where the meat of this podcast coming in. Because nowadays it costs damn near 106 figures to even get an undergraduate degree. Maybe even more if you plan on going to grad school. So we need to go back to the basics, people, because let me explain something to you. There's always going to be a need in the trades. I don't give a fuck what you're saying, what people tell you, that there are no jobs out there in the trade. If you can fix a car, if you know how to replace a transmission, if you know how to change a tire, you can start your own garage, people. You can start your own neighborhood garage, all right, where people can come to you to fix their cars. And if you do a good job at it, you'll always have some money. You'll have some money in your pocket. You'll always be able to eat and put food on your table. All right. Now here's another career that nobody really thinks about. All right. I see a lot of white boys in this career, but I don't see damn brothers in it. Electrical contracting. You go out there, get your electrical contractor's license, go spend a couple of years. Yeah, nigga, you're going to have to spend some years in school to learn your craft. Because I ain't hiring you if you don't know what the fuck you're doing about electrical wiring. So you can burn my house down while I'm in it, so I can get electrocuted when I turn on the light switch? Nigga, you must be out your mind. So you better spend that 2 or 3 years in school and learning your shit. You always got to go to school, motherfucker. That's why you should really go ahead and learn these trades. I'm not talking about just going into the white man's union. Just learn the trade, man. Learn the trade so you can go out there on your own. You might have to work as an apprentice for a year or two. Probably go into the union, but you can always do your own thing, man. I seen this white boy down in North Carolina making $2 million a year, $2-3 million a year, running his own electrical contracting company. My baby cousin, he has a federal contractor up in D.C. He go up to D.C. every 3 or 4 months. Every month he goes up to D.C., do some work, bounce. And I subscribe to a lot of truck driver videos. One of the brothers' name is Scooby Doo. Trucker Brown, the Wright brother. You know, they're giving you some game on the trucking industry, dude. You know, I'm not talking about being a local truck driver. I'm talking about, and a lot of my clients are truckers, and they go out on the road 300 days. You're going to be on the road 300 days. If you don't mind going out on the road for 300 days out of the year, living in your truck, you can make good money, nigga. Some of them make $100,000 a year just by driving a truck. On the road, over the road. That means you're on the highway going, you have to go ahead, pick up a load in Indiana, and then drop that load in California, and then you have to come back, pick up a load in Utah and drop it off in South Carolina. And you have to do that you have to do that within a couple of days, within a certain period of time. And if you can do that throughout the hazardous elements of driving, you have to deal with drivers. You have to deal with road rage niggas. You have to deal with the po-po trying to give you a ticket, trying to cite you on some bullshit. You have to deal with, you know, driving around for hours not sleeping. If you can drive around all day doing nothing, you can drive a truck. Drive that 18-wheeler truck and go on about your business and make your 6 figures. And stop bullshitting. Once you do that, you can be an owner-operator. Meaning that you can form your own corporation, pay off your truck, lease a truck, or own a truck, and you can start working for yourself. You ain't got to worry about nobody coming into the office. You ain't got to worry about, you know, some white woman trying to put sexual harassment charges on you. You work for yourself, man. See, let me tell you something. There's always plenty of work here. That's just the basics. But there is this podcast called, that I listen to all the time, the Side Hustle Podcast, which white folks are giving you some game on how you don't even have to go into trade. If you have an idea, if you know your way around the internet, you can set up an e-commerce business. Within a week, you can set up an e-commerce site and start selling shit online. If you know how to market your shit. If you know how to market and network right. There is plenty of work out there. If you got your notary license, man, you can be a mobile notary. All you're doing is running around, making appointments to set up appointments to notarize documents. And you can charge somebody $100 a visit for doing that shit. The fuck is wrong with you? You don't know how to, black folks, you gotta go back to the days where you just start hustling, man. There's money out here. I can understand if you in Kill a Nigga, Arkansas, where there's not going to be a lot of money to be made there. But if you're in a major city like Chicago or New York, especially New York, you can always, New York City, there may not be any jobs out there, but you can always find work, man. You can find work as a security guard for a little bit, just to pay off some bills, just to stack some chips up. Especially if you're living with your auntie in the racing car bed, you're still living with your mama, sleeping in the same room in that racing car bed. Because I know, you know what? I understand. You have to do what you have to do, because I understand it's hard out here. In New York City, it's getting even more and more expensive. But you can make money here, people. You can always make money. There is plenty of jobs. There's no jobs, but there's plenty of work out here. You just have to find it. You have to create yourself a service. You have to develop a skill for yourself. All right, you don't want to drive trucks, man, over the road, but you can drive. If you have a car, put that car to use, man. Especially if you have a hoopty. You can run a courier service, man. Running around just delivering packages all day long. People will hire you to do that, especially independently. You put up an ad up in Craigslist and you just drive around and they call you, make an appointment to pick this up and take this to point A to point B. But you just have to have your life. You have to have your insurance. You can't be just doing that without any insurance, any business insurance. Because what happens if you lose a package? They're gonna sue you, nigga. Even if you have an LLC, they're gonna sue you, motherfucker. But you can make some money to sustain yourself, dude. Because it's getting to a point where there ain't gonna be any jobs anymore. Because all those jobs are gonna be reserved for white people, especially now in this administration. When you black folks voted that orange pimp in, because I know a lot of you niggas voted that orange pimp in the office. He's got a plan for y'all motherfuckers. You know. I mean, pardoning Jack Johnson, that's good. No, that's not good. That's more of a symbolic victory, dude. Nothing to get too excited about. Let me just go ahead and touch on the symbolic victories, man. When they exonerated George Stinney. Now, George Stinney, those of you who are not familiar with that case, George Stinney was a 14-year-old boy that resided in some hick town in South Carolina, right? Now, there was two young girls, white girls, was just roaming around with no parental guidance, no parental supervision, right? Just roaming around. And he was the last person to talk to these two little white girls, ages 9 and 8, who disappeared, who walked away. He was seen speaking to them, and then they walked away. He went back in the house, and that was the end of the story. Couple hours later, these little white girls were found dead, raped, and I think either stabbed or strangled. They raped these little white girls, and it had to be a white man to do that shit. But they accused this black 14-year-old boy, okay, who was probably 120 pounds soaking wet. Couldn't bust a grape, accusing him of raping a white girl. Two white girls, beating them to death and killing them. Okay? This is what the white supremacists accused this boy of doing. They had police, the sheriff's department all up in this parent's house, talking with him, telling him and then mama and daddy didn't fight for him. Just said, hey, just tell them what they want to hear. Thinking that, okay, he might spend some time in jail for killing a white girl. Didn't stand up, didn't take the L along with his son. That's something I would have done. It would have been a fight. I would have had to die. My whole family would have had to die. You run up in the head with some bullshit. So eventually he confessed. They forced this boy to confess. Went to trial on a one-day trial where this boy did not have any representation except for a tax assessor who have no training in the law. He was found guilty, put to death, sentenced to death within a week. And they strapped this boy to an electric chair and electrocuting him to death. Okay? Just around 2014, they exonerated him, 70 years after his death. 70 years after his death. The state of South Carolina just exonerated him from all charges. Now, you got to ask yourself this question, people. Why did it take 70 years for the state of South Carolina to exonerate this young man? They could have did it a year after the conviction. They could have did it 10 years after the conviction. I would have accepted 20 years. I would have accepted in 1974 they could have just exonerated him because it was well after the civil rights movement. Everything was, the white supremacists said everything is fine. They could have done it, but they waited until 2014 to exonerate this boy from all charges. Which means nothing because the boy is dead now. The parents had to get the fuck out of South Carolina, moved up to, I think, New York City, New Jersey. They had to get the fuck up out of there. Couldn't stay there. Why the fuck would you want to stay there? Had a hard, traumatic life. Raising the rest of their children. Knowing that they couldn't protect their son. And the only way they can protect their other children is to get the fuck up out of there. But people, I didn't mean to get sidetracked off of that because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. But, I'm just running my mouth and I didn't do adequate research. But this is just part one. But there's no jobs, but there's plenty of work. Because as a man and as a woman, you can always find something to do. These white boys are finding something to do, finding out ways of monetizing their skill set. Why shouldn't you? Spend all day long fucking with each other on the internet. Fucking with an internet troll all fucking day. You have all day to watch a royal wedding. I mean, you getting kicked out of Starbucks. You getting kicked in your ass because you wander into a Starbucks just to sit down with a meeting and get arrested. So black folks, when are you going to go ahead and get your shit together? And start with all this bullshit. Spending all 6-7 years getting a degree that was really meant for a white man. But you can put some use to it unless you have one of those degrees that's useful to you, like engineering, if you're in the STEM, if you're in the computer sciences, if you're in the accounting, anything that's practical. If you're not studying those degrees, you're not studying to obtain those degrees so you can develop a skill set out there and a skill set of networking. If you're not learning how to network while you're in college, what the fuck you doing there? What is your purpose of being in college if you're not networking? You don't know who's going to give you a job. You don't know who your roommate is. Could end up giving you a job. But like I said before, you shouldn't really be looking for a job. Black folks, we spend an inordinate amount of time looking for jobs instead of working. Working for yourselves. It feels good to work for yourself, people. Especially you musical artists out there. You know how to hustle to put on a show. Performing in these bars and restaurants and marketing yourself. You do it for everybody else. Why not do it for yourself? Like this young lady who's my client. Now, if she can market herself, if she knows how to market herself, if she studies marketing on her own, just study it. You go on YouTube. And that's another thing, people. When you're on YouTube, what the fuck are you watching on YouTube? Are you, because there are hundreds of thousands of, maybe even millions of videos where you can develop a skill set and go out there and work for yourself. You can master a skill set on YouTube. If you want to master how to do C programming, mastering Excel programming, or mastering Microsoft Excel, you can have a job the next day. All you got to do is just study, learn, apply what you learn on these videos. There are some courses out there, some Microsoft courses where you can get certified as an expert in Excel. And you could be making $50,000, maybe $60,000 a year just by doing Excel spreadsheets and Visual Basic programming. If you're an expert in Excel, you can always find work, my brother. You can always find work, my brother and sister, because there's always people out there that needs an expert in Excel to work on their data. There's plenty of work out there for that. But are you doing that? Are you spending your time online high-signing and bullshitting, doing bullshit videos? The fuck is wrong with you, people? Anything that you want to learn on YouTube, you can learn it. Just taking the time and just taking an hour out of your day to learn a new skill set. So at least you'll know if somebody asks you if you're knowledgeable about Excel programming or C programming, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to talk about it. Or if you're an accountant, if you're not familiar with how to create a cash flow statement, there are some videos on YouTube that will teach you how to be an expert in cash flow statements. If you want to learn about the real estate industry, there's some videos out there that they'll teach you. You'll have $100,000 course in real estate, in commercial real estate. See, YouTube allows you to be an expert in almost anything. You don't really need no goddamn degree to do this shit, to get a job. You don't need no $100,000 a year degree so you can get a job. To learn the same thing that you're learning on YouTube. That should be a resource to you. But they're going to change the game. YouTube, Google is going to change the game in the next few years, people. So I would get whatever information that you're looking for. You better go ahead. You better hurry up and get it. Well, listen, gang, let me just go ahead and do part 2 of this later on in the week, or whenever I feel like talking, because I talked enough for this Sunday afternoon. I'm just going to go ahead and take a nap and relax. Probably find a barbecue somewhere later on today, man. So you black folks out there, just go out there and do your homework on what you want to do. There's plenty of work out there. If you're sitting at home, let me ask you something. Let me tell y'all something. If you're sitting at home and you got laid off on your job and you're sitting at home boo-hooing and high-signing and boo-hooing because you got laid off by some racist ass boss, your supervisor would set you up to get fired, and you boo-hooing and high-signing, the fuck you doing? You better just go ahead and get up off your dusty behind and learn a skill set. If you had a bullshit ass job, okay? And what I mean by bullshit ass job is if you working in retail or fast food and you begging for $15 an hour so you can live, Those jobs, let me just explain something to you people. Those jobs were not designed for you to live off of. Okay? Granted, they may be entry level jobs, but it wasn't designed for you to live off of it. It wasn't designed for you to work 3-4 years out of your life flipping burgers. Okay? May have been designed to work there for a little bit, learn the systems. If you're learning the systems, they may promote you if that's what you want. But people don't go in there letting people know what you want out of this job, out of a bullshit ass job. Do you want a job or do you want a career in flipping burgers or managing a restaurant? So if you go to McDonald's, you want to learn how to manage a restaurant, this is a great training ground. All you got to do is learn the systems and they'll promote you. But if they don't feel like that you're capable of being promoted, get the fuck out. Use that experience that you have on your resume to get another job, possibly as an assistant manager at a small restaurant. They're always hiring somebody as these small restaurants, they usually are hiring. But the only quagmire is you got to show up to work every day. You can't take a day off. But that's the restaurant business, people. You just can't take a day off for shit. It's just like anywhere else. You go ahead and try and take a day off and see if your black ass have a job the next morning. Well, listen. I don't want to talk anymore. I'll be back later on after I do my research, and I'll be back to talk to you guys about some more opportunities out there, because that's what black folks should be doing, is looking for opportunities, not for a job. Looking for opportunities, not for no damn job. Tired of y'all motherfuckers marching and begging the white man to give you a job. You shouldn't be begging anybody to get, black men, black women, you shouldn't be begging anybody to give you a job. What should have happened during the civil rights movement, you should have your own shit. But you didn't do it. We should be having our own hospitals in our own neighborhood. Our own security systems in our neighborhood. Black citizens should be controlling the politics in their neighborhood, not the other way around. Okay? And that's why there's so many murders in Chicago and New Orleans and DC. Because you got black folks scared of taking over the politics of their neighborhood. The drug dealers and the white man is in control. Not you, black man, black woman. So whenever somebody, see, it's so quick that these silly ass niggas up here saying that, well, it's not the white man that's doing it. Yes, it is the white man. You don't control shit. You control nothing. You don't own or control shit. Let me explain something to you, people. The neighborhood that you're living in right now, or the neighborhood that I'm living in right now, the white man can turn this into an expressway if they want to. And there ain't a goddamn thing that I can do about it. Except for vote. The fuck that means voting. Vote for what? For who? Anyway, let me get the fuck up out of here, people. This is Talking Crazy 88. And I am out of here, people. And black folks, let's take ownership of our community and let's empower our young black men and women so they can go ahead and pass down their wealth and their knowledge to the next generation.